Hello, I'm Andrew Lawrence King, and today I'm talking about tuning and temperament and showing you a very handy app that gives you a visual representation of what different historical temperaments sound like. The app even lets you adjust the temperament, playing around with individual notes to see what the effect is going to be in sound. The app is called the Temperator and it was made by Lynn Tabbert. And this is how it looks. So here is what Lynn Tabbert's Temperator app looks like on the screen. On this right hand side, around a rather nice line drawing of Pythagoras, we've got a circle of fifths: C, G, D, A, E, B. Moving into the black notes: F sharp, C sharp, A flat, E flat, B flat, F. At the top here you can transpose the temperament you're working on, up or down, and you can load various presets. Here I've chosen Pythagorean. The layout here is designed for a standard 12-note keyboard, and over here we've got that standard 12-note keyboard: C, C sharp, D, E flat, E, F, F sharp, G, A flat, A, B flat, B natural. What the Temperator does for you is it gives you a visual indication of what the temperament is going to sound like. So if we look at the note C, the outer circle, which is completely still, tells you about the fifths. In this Pythagorean temperament, the fifths are absolutely pure, and so they appear as still. The inner circle, which here is moving moderately fast, tells you about the thirds. In Pythagorean, the thirds are very wide, and so that spinning inner circle shows you that the third above C is much too wide. And each note gives you that visual indication for the intervals above that note. So a fifth up from G, it's another pure fifth, and the third from G to B natural in this Pythagorean temperament, the third is very wide. And so on as we go around the circle of fifths as far as E. The fifth up from E to B is pure, that outer circle is still, but the third from E to G sharp is very wide. Going round the other way, here we have F. Again, the fifth above F to C is pure, and the third above F, F to A, is very wide. That inner circle's turning fast. Similarly for B flat and E flat. Now, in this place here, as this red disc shows, we have the wolf. We have the entire comma stuck in one place here. Actually, this note, which is labelled here conventionally as A flat, has been tuned, also conventionally, as G sharp. And so this E flat to G sharp is not a pure fifth. It's actually not a fifth at all. And so the outer circle is spinning fast, showing that's the wolf. And now C sharp, that really is C sharp. C sharp to G sharp, that's a pure fifth, and the outer circle is still showing the pure interval. On the left-hand side of the screen, we get the same information again related to a standard 12-note keyboard. Here are the notes: C, D, E, F, G, A, B natural, and the black notes: B flat, A flat, F sharp, E flat, C sharp. And the numbers here written on the keys, the numbers here show the divergent in cents, hundredths of a semitone, related to equal temperament. So in this Pythagorean temperament, C natural is 5.9 cents lower than in equal temperament. That's useful if you're working with a tuning machine. You can set your machine in equal temperament and read the differences off the dial. These next two columns tell you how the temperament is going to sound by looking at intervals in the temperament and comparing them to pure intervals. So we're getting the same information in these two columns that we get in the inner and outer rings of the circle of fifths. So the note C in this temperament has a major third above it, E, which is 21.5 cents too high. So we're looking at the major third above C, it's 21.5 cents too wide. That's very out of tune, and that's what that spinning inner circle also tells us. It's the same information in digital or visual form. For the fifth above C, C to G, that fifth is 0 here. It's a pure fifth. There's no difference in this temperament compared to the pure fifth. That's what we see also in the outer ring here, which is still showing a pure fifth. So the right and left side of the app show us the same information in different formats, visual and digital. The layout of the whole app is based on a standard 12-note keyboard. That's not the only possible layout there could be. Historically, some medieval instruments don't have as many as 12 notes in the octave. In the 17th century, some keyboards and many other instruments had more than 12 notes per octave. So 12 notes per octave is the modern choice, and it's a standard choice for discussions of temperament, but it's not the only choice of viewpoint, and it's not necessarily the best or most historical choice of viewpoint when we want to discuss temperaments in general. Of course, it's great for the purpose for which this app was made, which is tuning keyboards that have 12 notes per octave. But for a general discussion, for example, the historical division of the octave into 55 divisions, this could be interesting. And divisions of the octave that show, for example, split black notes with 2 notes available for G sharp and A flat. This is available on some instruments and very useful for some theoretical discussions. So this app is designed for and optimized for a 12-note keyboard, 12 notes per octave. The real fun of this app comes when you press this chromatic button, because now you can start to play with the temperament. You can select a note. I'm going to select this one, which is called A flat, but it's actually G sharp, and I'm going to make it into a real A flat. I'm just going to play around with it. So I've selected the note, and now I go to this big button, and that lets me make quickly big changes So you see that I'm bringing this note down a lot. Really a lot. Now I'll just nudge it down a little bit more. And digitally, you can see that now the fifth above my A flat, that's A flat to E flat, the fifth is pure. I've made a Pythagorean A flat. And if I look at that visually, I can see, yes, the outer circle is still, and that shows the pure fifth. So I've finished with that note and I'll unselect it. You can actually select more than one note at a time, which is useful if you want to adjust several notes simultaneously. So now I'm taking the notes that are called C sharp and F sharp, and I'm going to turn them also into their flats. So here we go. I'm dropping them down quite a lot, as you'll see. So the C sharp is looking good here. Now this whole app runs to the approximation of 0.1 of a cent. That's fantastic, because most of us find it really difficult to tune any closer or even hear any closer than 2 cents. So 0.1 of a cent for all kinds of practical purposes is absolutely sufficient. But just every so often the rounding errors mean that you have to make little extra adjustments. So I just need to nudge the F sharp a little bit more. So now I've finished my adjustments, I'll unselect everything. So now if I look at C sharp, which I've now changed into D flat, the fifth above it, up to what I've made into a real A flat, it's a good fifth. It's a pure fifth. And similarly, this note is no longer F sharp, it's G flat. And if I select that one, then you'll see that above the G flat, again, I've got a perfect fifth to my D flat. But now I want you to notice something else. This is G flat. But let's just look at D. When we look at D, from D to a Pythagorean G flat, look at that inner circle. It's barely moving. Look at the numbers for D. Pure fifth above to A, of course, Pythagorean. But look at the third, only 2.1 difference. That's about the limit of what anybody can hear and tune. For all practical purposes, D to Pythagorean G flat makes an almost pure major third. So this is how, in Pythagorean temperament, if we tune all the way round taking all the flats, when we get right round the far side of the temperament, then it's a Pythagorean G flat, but it gives us an almost pure major third. Whereas in Pythagorean, the Pythagorean major thirds, the real one, from C up to E, for example, the major third you can see from the spinning inner circle, and you can see from the numbers, the major third is way, way off. So hidden inside the Pythagorean temperament, by using, if you like, the wrong enharmonic of black note, D to G flat, we've actually got an almost pure major third. And Mark Linley speculates that this is how the taste for pure major thirds developed, because around 1400, with this tuning, with this temperament, you could have from D a pure fifth to the A and an almost pure major third to Pythagorean G flat, which is sounding really good as an F sharp. Notice what's happening here from B to F sharp. Well, that's not F sharp, that's G flat. B to G flat, that just is not a fifth. And so the outer circle, the fifth circle from the B, is showing you that here we've got the wolf between B and G flat. There's the wolf in the fifths. As always in temperaments, there is no free lunch. The better you make one thing, the worse you make something else. I hope you've had fun looking at the Temperator app. Do have a go at it for yourself, and thanks to Lynn Tabbert for developing it. If you'd like to explore questions of tuning and temperament further, then there's a whole series of videos, some free and some to purchase, available on my Book When video lessons site. I'm Andrew Lawrence King, and thank you for watching.